Hola.
Hello, Sergio.
Finally,
Finally.
finally, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now. How
Wonderful.
are you, my friend? How are you?
Okay, glad to see you.
Glad to see you. I don't know what happened with the audio before. I couldn't
Yeah,
hear anything.
I see. It's because of software, broken
Yeah.
software. Okay,
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Let's
matter.
start.
Yes, my friend.
I'm introduce you to our subscribers. I'll translate to Ukrainian and let's start.
Yes.
Шановні друзі, починається наш прямий ефір з Девідом, який є засновником відомої спільноти у Сполучених Штатах Circle of Drink, також магазину, який має таку ж саму назву. І сьогодні ми поспілкуємось з приводу розвитку мати-індустрії у Сполучених Штатах і, зокрема, перспективах, а також який саме різновид падубу парагвайського більш до вподоби саме Дейву і інші питання. Наприкінці ефіру ми зможемо розіграти приз від нашого гостя шановного, і ви можете, будь-хто з вас, можете виграти цей приз. Тож, будьте з нами і поїхали. So, Dave, our subscribers and our club, I'd like to know about your community. When your community firstly was founded?
Okay, so I guess you could say the community started in 2011 when I had the idea to start Circle of Drink while I was living in Argentina. And in 2012 is when I started the end of 2011, I started a blog, and it was just speaking about yerba mate, my passion for yerba mate when I was living in Argentina. So for about 2 or 3 years, from 2011 to about 2013, I was just blogging and making videos about yerba mate because I fell in love with yerba mate while living in Argentina and Uruguay and Brazil. And yeah, since let's say 2012, the community started Circle of Drink.
Okay, I'm translating. Девід почав своє захоплення в 2011 році, коли він перебував у Аргентині. Він знаходився там, працював, і спочатку це було таке захоплення, аматорське. Він писав відео, він був блогером з теми жерба мате. І потім вже кілька років по тому, приблизно в 2014-2015 році, він вже відвідав і також Уругвай, і зміг вже зібрати більше однодумців, з якими врешті-решт вже в 2020 році остаточно було сформовано ком'юніті Circle of Dream. Okay, thank you. About your positioning of yerba mate in your community, because I see in your website that you write yerba is tea. So, yerba mate is still tea or not tea for you? What's your opinion about this?
Well, when I first started drinking mate, obviously I knew the distinction that mate was not tea, technically speaking. Tea comes from the Camellia sinensis plant. But after a few years of realizing that I was causing more harm than good to separate mate from this term tea, I realized that in order to promote mate and to market mate, I must call it tea, because the term tea has just become a general term these days. And I have to accept that. We have to accept that the term tea is just a general term for any herb that you infuse becomes a tea. Now, you have a lot of people in the tea community who are very aggressive and very protective of this term tea. They only want it to be used for the Camellia sinensis plant. But I'm not so serious about that. I'm okay. I'm happy calling yerba mate tea in order to market yerba mate and expand yerba mate. I'll call it anything. It doesn't matter to me. I'll call it, purple drink, whatever I need to call it in order to market it and let people know that it is yerba mate, but it's a type of tea that you can make just like green tea. So for me, it's a marketing issue. I call it tea to help me market yerba mate.
Okay, clear. But as you know, on motherhood of this plant, it's not called tea, and it's a separate category, like coffee, like maybe cacao.
Yeah. You see, my whole thing is, I know that there's a lot of people who are really into coffee, really into tea, really into mate. But for me, I'm not dealing with division. I'm not dealing with coming up with all these things and trying to divide mate from everything else. I'm trying to integrate mate. And for me, that's why I'm not so serious about the terms. It's not serious for me. So I'll call mate yerba mate tea all day long, because I just don't care about all the rules and all the things like that. I don't play the whole rules game when it comes to these things. I just do what I do, and I call it tea, and that works for Circle the Drink. It works for me.
Let me translate, please. Дейв відповідає на питання стосовно того, що в нього в магазині на сайті мате позиціонується як чай. Чому він називає його чаєм, він пояснює, оскільки для нього це перш за все, це така, можна сказати, маркетингова фішка, бо більше, звичайно, північноамериканців, не південно, вони звикли до того, що щось пити гаряче – це чай. Тому, хоча це не має відношення до чайної культури, ми чудово розуміємо, і південноамериканці не називають його чаєм. Проте Девід не бачить в цьому якоїсь проблеми називати це чаєм, оскільки це допомагає більше людей заохочувати до цієї культури. Тобто для нього це не дуже важливо. Окей, thank you. One more question about market, yerba mate market in the USA. How do you assess the current level of interest in yerba mate among Americans without touching of involvement diasporas, you see, without diasporas? How you evaluate the current level of interest among your
Sure.
citizens?
So whenever you talk about yerba mate in the United States, you can look at it in many different angles. You can look at it from, the Guayaquil angle, where Guayaquil, back in the late 90s, they started a mate company, which is now the largest yerba mate company in the United States, perhaps one of the largest mate companies in the world at this point. So, when Guayaquil started, I'm not going to go into their history. It's better for them to tell you their history. But, they started with the loose leaf yerba mate, and then after several years, they kind of evolved into the cans. So when you ask the average person what yerba mate is in the United States, most people don't know. But if they do know about it, they usually think of Guayaquil, the cans, the ready-to-drink cans. In my opinion, that's something else. That's a different experience. That's not the traditional experience. So when you think of the traditional experience of yerba mate, I would say most people drinking yerba mate now this way in the United States have only been drinking it for a very short period of time, maybe 10, 20 years. Most of these people in the United States are new. Now we're talking about people born in the United States. We're not talking about people who, as you said, came from Argentina, came from Brazil. That's a whole different category to speak about. I could speak about that, but the people who are, were born in the United States, who are drinking it like this now, very few. I would say my personal estimate is less than 100,000 people in the United States are drinking it like this every single day, less than 100,000. Now, if you include, people from other countries, Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, I would probably estimate 200,000, 250,000 people a day are drinking it like this in the United States, which is not a lot when you think about the population of the United States, 400 million people. So in my opinion, yerba mate is very new. It's a very niche subject here, and it has a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to expand. That's why big companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all these big companies have yerba mate companies now. They have yerba mate, a lot of yerba mate operations going.
Yeah, I see. So we need more efforts to share it and populate it.
Yes, it's still new. Like, for instance, my customers, 90% of my customers didn't even know what yerba mate was. They didn't even know. So I think, I was one of the first companies ever in the United States to build a clientele list where 90% of the customers had no idea what yerba mate was. So
our subscribers comments that try huayaki and we in can.
yeah,
And it was terrible. Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. It's for me, I think it's a tasty drink. It's a very tasty, sweet drink. Would I drink it every day personally? No. Me personally, no. I wouldn't drink that every day. But, if I happen to see it at a little deli or something, I'm thirsty, I'll drink one of them, one or two, but it's not an everyday drink for me.
Okay, let me translate.
Yeah.
Дейв, ми задали питання одного з наших підписників стосовно розвитку північноамериканського ринку жерба мате, наскільки він має перспективи і яка його ємність. Тобто, скільки справді, можна так сказати, етнічних американців не з діаспори Латинської Америки, не з Аргентини, не з Бразилії, а саме американців, скільки вживає мате щодня. І Дейв пояснив, що традиційним шляхом, тобто за допомогою мате і бомбіжії, менше ніж 100 тисяч мешканців Сполучених Штатів вживають так мате. Але якщо враховувати вже діаспору, тобто іммігрантів з Південної Америки, то ця цифра може збільшуватись 2 чи в 3 рази до 300 тисяч. Але все одно це така дуже невелика ніша, і тому треба багато зусиль, так само, власне, як і в нас, щоб просувати і популяризувати цю тему. Добре. Okay, thanks. And next question. About are there great prospects for the development of yerba market in the USA in a current situation?
Are there great prospects for mate here in the United States? I would say absolutely. Just in terms of even energy, when you compare mate to coffee, I think that mate blows coffee away in terms of energy, clarity of mind, because you're going to get the energy, but you're going to get clarity of mind. Mate, in my opinion, the real power of mate, apart from the spiritual benefits, in terms of the mind, it gives you a sort of clarity that's unparalleled. You're not going to find that clarity in energy drinks. You're not going to find it in coffee. You're not even necessarily going to find it in chocolate. Chocolate is very similar in some ways, but mate gives you that clarity. It gives you that boost, that power, that crispy, clear, creative clarity is what I call it. So yeah, I think the prospects are huge, but in my opinion, and a lot of people in Argentina and Brazil and Paraguay don't like when I say this, but my opinion is that we cannot rely on South America in the future for mate production, just South America. I believe that we have to grow this plant outside of South America. We have to grow this plant in the United States. We have to grow it in the islands. I think it could grow in the Caribbean. I think it could grow in many places, but the Argentinians and the Brazilians and the Paraguayans, they work very hard to tell the world that it can't grow anywhere else. I don't believe that. I think it can grow in other places. It's just that we need the money and we need the research to develop the sort of strains that will grow outside of the Southern Cone region. We can no longer rely just on South America. There's too much corruption. There's too many problems. And, you know, it's like a mafia in some ways, you know, with some of the people who own these mate companies in South America. So I believe we have to either buy land in South America and grow it as foreigners or grow it in other countries in order for it to truly be sustainable.
Окей. Відносно перспектив, Дейв говорить, що так, це можливо у випадку, якщо буде зростати і збільшуватись маркет південноамериканських країн, тобто обсяги виробництва, обсяги експорту у Парагваї, в Бразилії, в Аргентині. І хоча є продукти-конкуренти, які більш розповсюджені, які більш, скажімо так, відомі, ну, звичайно, це шоколад, наприклад, кава у Сполучених Штатах. Але ми чудово розуміємо, що мате має свої переваги, і мате дає енергію, мате покращує ментальну активність, мате, ну, сприяє позитивно взагалі на емоційний стан. І тому Дейв вважає, що так, перспективи є, хоча зараз ця ніша відносно невелика і не так просто, скажімо так, зробити цей напій, ну, популярним на кшталт кави. Ну, це надзадача. Але Дейв вірить, що якщо буде збільшуватись обсяги виробництва і більше буде емігрантів з країн Південної Америки поширювати цю культуру, можливо, приїжджаючи до Сполучених Штатів, до Європи, і тим більше буде ця культура, скажімо так, поширюватись у всьому світі. Окей. The last question. I remember that our time limit is 30 minutes.
No, don't worry. We're okay.
Last question about Brazilian style, as you prefer, I see, Brazilian style, and how much this topic in demand in USA, and without Brazilian diaspora, only among citizens of USA, native Americans. How popular is Brazilian chimarrão?
Sure. So I wouldn't say that I necessarily prefer the chimarrão. It's just that I've been spending a lot of time in Brazil. So while I'm in Brazil, I drink the yerba because I'm living in Brazil the past 2 years. It's, you know, very different than the Argentine yerba mate. It's I like it a lot because it's very light on my system, and I feel like I could drink more of it without feeling a little bit too bogged down. Sometimes when you drink the heavy Argentine yerba or the heavy Paraguayan yerba, you drink less of it. I like to just drink mate all day long, so the yerba helps me do that. Right now, I'm actually drinking Argentinian mate. Now, in terms of the demand for the yerba in the United States, yerba is also another term for the chimarrão, the Brazilian mate. It's a very, very small demand in the United States. I think that I'm the #1 seller of yerba in the United States in terms of the variety of yerba. Jamangu, I would say, has a big presence here, especially in Miami, in the south of the country. Jamangu has been being sold here for a long time. Barao is sold here, but apart from Barao and Jamangu, there really isn't any other people selling yerba besides Circle of Drink in the United States. The demand is very small. The niche is very small. it's really not worth it for companies to sell herba here because you lose a lot of money. Like, I'm willing to lose money in order to expand herba. So, you know, I'll buy it and I'll sell it and I'll lose money. I'll continue to lose money selling herba because I know that there's a future for it. But the demand is very small right now, very small demand in the United States. I couldn't even put a number on the demand. But like I said, it's mostly Jamango and Barao. They have a pretty good presence here in the United States. But I feel like the future is bright for herba. It's just very complicated for many people to make. And that's what prevents a lot of people from drinking the herba because it's fine powder and they're not used to making it. Argentine yerba is much simpler to make. So that's the issue with the herba.
Окей, clear. Дейв говорить, що шимаран не так популярний в Сполучених Штатах, і тому що, ну, звичайно, його складніше готувати і потрібні навички певні, ми знаємо про це. І хоча є певні бренди, які представлені, в них є свої поціновувачі, наприклад, це Баран, відомий усім, і Джиманго, Сіманго. Також. І Дейв каже, що насправді попит дуже невеличкий, якщо не брати до уваги, звичайно, іммігрантів з Бразилії, бо переважно вони замовляють в тих інтернет-крамницях, то ну, це досить невеличка така ніша. Maybe you can evaluate in a percentage about all yerba mate market in percentage how much Brazilian shima or herba choose.
In the United States, the United States market? Well, of course, I'm just speculating, but based upon my own intuition, I would say that the Brazilian yerba mate dominates the entire situation because, you know, the Brazilians, a lot of people don't know that a lot of this stuff, a lot of the Argentinians right now are buying Brazilian mate for their own brands. So a lot of these brands in Argentina, people don't know, they're actually drinking Brazilian grown mate. That's kind of like a little thing that the average person would never know. So in my opinion, the Brazilians control the yerba mate market in terms of the Brazilian loose leaf mate. I would say that's probably 80%, 75% of the market here. But people wouldn't know that because it's being packaged in other brands or personal. Like, for instance, my mate that we sell is probably 75% Brazilian now. It used to be 75% Argentinian. But the problem is, that the supply in Argentina is very unstable, especially when it comes to organic yerba mate. So in the United States, I'm going to say most of the mate people are drinking, 75% of it is Brazilian. I would say maybe 15% of it is Argentinian, and the rest is Paraguayan. Paraguayan has a very small, Paraguayan, yeah, it's maybe 5 to 10% Paraguayan. But mostly Brazilian. And then the herba is not even worth mentioning in terms of that scale, because the herba, we're talking like less than hundredths of 1%. So the herba is not even worth mentioning. But I would say the Brazilian mate dominates the United States right now, Brazilian, because the Brazilians are the best in terms of production. Nobody could beat them. Nobody could beat the Brazilians with production. They grow the most herba. Well, they don't grow the most, but they grow. The Argentinians technically grow more than the Brazilians in a very small piece of land, but the Argentinians rely on pesticides. They rely on a lot of chemicals. They rely on a lot of things, to grow a lot of mate very quickly. The Brazilians rely on the forest more. They rely on the nature to grow their mate, and they don't use a lot of pesticides. So the Brazilians are they know how to produce a lot of mate. They know how to export it without any problems. They don't give you problems, and they make it very easy to get their yerba. In other countries, it's not always so easy. I would say the Argentinians, it's a little bit more difficult when it comes to exportation.
Mm-hmm. So the Brazilian herba much more popular should be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The Brazilian herba it's complicated to explain because, like I said, the Brazilians will sell their yerba to other companies in Paraguay, in Argentina, and United States, and then those companies will use the Brazilian yerba for their own brands. So people don't know that most of the mate that they're drinking is technically grown in Brazil, even though it may be an Argentinian brand or a United States brand or a Paraguayan brand. They're using the Brazilian mate in those brands because it's the Brazilians make it very easy for everybody to buy as much mate as you want, and there's no problems. It's not as easy to buy yerba in Paraguay and Argentina.
You mean easy in sachets or in
Anything. The Brazilians are very accommodating in terms of mate. They'll come anything you want. Make me sachets, make me loose leaf, make me whatever. The Brazilians make things very simple when it comes to exportation. When you do it in other countries, it's very difficult compared to the Brazilians. I don't know what it is. The Brazilians just have a way of making things simple when you want to buy yerba from them. So, you know, that's what's going on.
Дейв пояснює, що в його асортименті, зокрема, приблизно 75% це якраз бразильська жерба, приблизно 15 аргентинська і менше 10 це Парагвай. І чому так виходить? Тому що ну, експортні умови саме з Бразилії, вони найліпші. І ну, більш популярніше можна зробити, більше, скажімо так, заробити можна саме на бразильських матах, наскільки я зрозумів. Хоча, звичайно, ну, може це складніше з точки зору приготування, але ну, там так проблема не стоїть, бо можуть і користуватись різними приладами, наприклад, френч-прес, там, наприклад, з пакетованим варіантом, як ми знаємо, також фабрики Барану і решта. Окей. About your our price.
Yes. So we have the
accessory mate shaper.
Mate shaper.
Yeah. What is your experience, personal experience? How do you find it usefully for making shima? What can you say?
I think it's an indispensable tool for making shimahao because this is a perfect situation. Now, you know, in Brazil they use these, but they don't really make wooden ones. I decided to make a wooden one. And it makes things very simple because the shimahao is fine powder. It's very fine, and it's, you know, not easy to work with unless you know what you're doing or you have a tool like this. So this goes inside the kuya, the gourd, and then you put the shimahao on one side, and then you pour the hot water on the other side, and then you wait 1 minute, and then after 1 minute you pull this out slowly, and it makes a perfect division. And once you have the perfect division and you pour the hot water in the hole, then there's no problems. It's not going to clog. It's going to be easy. It makes life easy. And then this shaper is used to make it very beautiful. So you have the mountain of the what I call the mountain of mate, the mountain of mate. And I like this because this makes it nice and pretty. That's what this does. So this is another tool that I was inspired to make from the Brazilians. I made my own little twist on it, my own take. And so these two tools together make life very easy when you're making shimahao.
Окей. Цей такий аксесуар досить цікавий, він своєрідний ноу-хау, яке нещодавно з'явилося. І от, зокрема, Дейв показує, що він складається з двох таких частинок. Перша частина – це з отворами всередині. Вона встромляється безпосередньо у кую, у поронго, у мате. От, і розподіляє навпіл частину, де є ерва, і ну, ту частину, де буде заливатись вода. А інший аксесуар допомагає страмбувати цю стіночку з боку іншого, щоб вона не руйнувалася, і він її ущільнити допомагає. Тож, ми зараз вже дійшли до нашого найголовнішого моменту. Ми розіграємо цей аксесуар. І хто зараз нас дивиться, має можливість прийняти участь і його отримати. Ну, спочатку ми думали випадковим шляхом обрати переможця, але все ж таки краще буде, і Дейву також корисніше буде, якщо наш переможець покаже, що він уважно дивився наш ефір і запам'ятав відповідь на одне просте питання. Коли вперше Дейв почав цікавитись мате? Отже, це питання. Коли Дейв вперше почав цікавитись мате? Перший, хто відповість, у коментарях отримає цей чудовий аксесуар. So, dears, the question is, when Dave firstly start interest in mate? First answer will be winner. Let's start.
I already saw someone put it. Yeah. Yeah. When I started, my first interest in mate, the company started. When did I start Circle of Drink, or when was my first interest in mate?
First interest.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We have an answer. We have an answer from Mate Conk.
I see it. I see it.
Greetings.
Hello, Mate. Mate Conk, yes.
Yeah,
Technically,
it's Ukrainian shop from Lviv city.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Тож наші вітання пану Костянтину, який вірно відповів на це питання. І першим, поки що і єдиним, вже, власне, визначились з переможцем. То ми допоможемо цей аксесуар діставити в Україну і передати переможцю нашого сьогоднішнього ефіру. Окей, ми будемо вже завершувати ефір. Останнє тільки питання, бо це дуже важливо, і я думаю, мені не простять наші учасники нашої спільноти, якщо я його не встигну задати. So, the last question.
No, it's fine, please.
What's your favorite top five brands of yerba mate from all over the world, in Brazilian, Argentinian, Paraguay, and Uruguay? No, doesn't matter. 5 better brands for you.
Okay, so I'm going to exclude my own brands. Apart from my own brands, I'm going to say my top 5 in no particular order, but my top 5 would be, I'm going to have to say Liebig. Liebig is in there. I'm going to have to say Cultivada Nachiva. I'm going to say Anna Park. I'm going to say to tell you the truth, there's a new company I've been drinking lately that I really love, Mate & Co. Mate & Co., this Argentinian company, Mate & Co. they're called. Really delicious. Yeah, they're called Mate & Co. Yeah. They're
Never heard about it.
Yeah, they're a boutique brand in Argentina and Spain. And I've been drinking their yerba, and I'm very impressed by it, actually. Mate & Co. And then the last one I would have to say, generally speaking, I'm going to have to say Yakui. I really like Yakui. Yeah, Yakui. Yeah, those are like, if I had to select 5 brands, I would have to select those 5 brands. Yeah.
About Shima, could you repeat, please, the name of brand? Second position.
Oh, the second one, Cultivada. Cultivada.
Colbibara?
No, Cultivada with a C. Let me type it in here. Cultivada.
Type, please.
Yeah. Cultivada.
And Mate & Co. too. If you
Yeah. So yeah, Mate and Co. Actually, could I make 6? Because I forgot one company that I would add. There's one more company I would add if you give me 6 positions. I would say Mate Nachivo from De Valarios. De Valarios. This company called De Valarios. They're an herba company. And in my opinion, it's some of the best herba that no one has ever heard about. De Valarios. Yes. Those top 6, those 6 brands, I would if I had to, pick 6 to be stranded on the island with, apart from my own stuff, apart from Circle of Drink, it would be those 6 brands.
Окей. То п'ятірка найкращих брендів для Дейва має приблизно такий вигляд. На перше місце він поставив Лібіг, відомий бренд, який також випускає марку Плажедіто. Друга позиція – це Шімарао Культівада. Третя позиція – це Анна Парк, аргентинський виробник відомий. Четверта – теж аргентинський, Mate & Co. Я, правда, не чув ніколи такого. Так, потім Якуй, так, відомий бренд, ми знаємо його. І De Valerios.
Yes, De Valerios.
Uruguayo or Argentino?
It's Brazilian, southern Brazil.
Brazilian.
Yes.
Ага. Бразильський бренд De Valerios. Отакий топ в Девіда. Тож, сподіваємось, вам це було цікаво. Okay, Dave, we are very grateful
thank you.
to participate in our live stream, and we invite you to our community YouTube channel, mateforum.org.ua, or website mateforum.org.ua. I can consult you how to select language from Russian, Ukrainian to English, and you can read streets on.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Sergio. It was a pleasure to be here, to expand the Yerba Mate community, to be a part of your community, for you to be a part of my community. And that's what it's all about. Just sharing this beautiful herb, Yerba Mate, that, is a great, powerful tool for connection and connectivity and community. Thank you so much. Salud.
Thank you too. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day, my friend. Let's do it again soon. We'll do it again. Thank you. Salud. Ciao, ciao.